Hello, my name is Alex Burgess, and I will be presenting on my human development journey. Sadly, I do not have any pictures of myself or my family from when I was younger. I will be utilizing pictures that I found on the web and applying each step of the human development journey towards how it affected myself and my being. But I thank you for taking the time to review my presentation, and I look forward to your feedback. For humanity to achieve her most desirable state being, we must individually realize our common good obligation to humanity. Magaji Musapuba. Life is a journey with every developmental stage presenting a new set of challenges and potential opportunities. For this presentation, I will touch base on the surface on aspects of my human development journey up to my current stage, as I'm not done growing and evolving. I'll be discussing physical, cognitive, social, emotional, cultural, and spiritual. Physical human development. Physical human development involves growth and body changes in the body and brain, the senses, motor skills, and health and wellness. Physical development is just one of the many different developmental domains that a person goes through from childhood to adulthood. Physical development has its own separate categories such as brain development, motor development, sensation, perception of body growth, and changes in nutrition. In early childhood, body growth slows from the fast-paced first 2 years. During these years, children gain an average of 5 pounds and add 2 to 3 inches in height. The baby fat begins to disappear and the children become more streamlined. For my physical human development stage, this point in life, it did not come without its challenges. I was a small child and suffered from chronic anemia. I recall having to take iron therapies to aid with my growth and asthma and support my cognitive development. Section we'll be looking at cognitive development. The textbook definition of cognitive development is a study of childhood neurological and physical development. Specifically, cognitive development is assessed based on the level of interpretation, perception, processing of information, and language as an indicator of brain development. When we look at cognition from the view of theorist Jean Piaget, his theory describes the development of cognition with age. Piaget's theory of cognitive development suggests that children progress through a series of stages of mental development. The theory outlines 4 distinct stages from birth through adolescence, focusing on how children acquire knowledge, reasoning, language, morals, and memory. Looking back at my own cognitive development, I recall that I thought and how I viewed the world was based on my settings. I also have learned that my intelligence was not fixed on a specific situation, but once I had the opportunity to grow and evolve, once given the chance, my intelligence grew as well. Cognitive development. The textbook definition of cognitive development is the study of childhood neurological and physical development. Specifically, cognitive development is assessed based on the level of interpretation, perception, processing of information, and language as an indicator of brain development. When we look at cognition from the view of theorist Jean Piaget, his theory describes the development of cognition with age. Piaget's theory of cognitive development suggests that children progress through a series of stages of mental development. The theory outlines 4 distinct stages from birth through adolescence, focusing on how children acquire knowledge, reasoning, language, morals, and memory. Looking back at my own cognitive development, I recall what I thought and how I viewed the world was based on my settings. I also learned that my intelligence was not fixed on a specific situation, but once I had the chance and opportunity to grow and evolve, once given the chance, my intelligence grew as well. This section will be discussing social emotional development. I have included a picture of my family, a little family, myself, my daughter, and my husband, and some happy children in the background. Children who have been brought up with love and care exhibit a very healthy social development. Social emotional development is the development of a child's experience, expression, management of emotions, and ability to create relationships. Some social emotional needs are fostering supportive relationships, providing activities and experiences that give young children the opportunity to learn emotional skills, providing a flexible daily routine with carefully planned transitions, and carrying out supportive strategies. As a child, I sadly did not foster nor experience any of these needs in a positive setting. Growing up, my world was very volatile, but luckily I was able to experience these in my young adult years, which in turn I have been able to provide to my children and any other person who I cross paths with. In this slide, we'll be discussing cultural development. On the left, you see a quinceañera, which is synonymous with Sweet 16. It's celebrated in many Latin American communities. The question here is culture important for human development? Culture is utterly important for human development, and understanding development is dependent on identifying which features of development are culturally based. By understanding an individual's culture, we understand habits of said individual, lifestyles, individual behaviors, consumption patterns, values related to environmental stewardship, and our interaction with the natural environment are mostly influenced by our cultures. Culture is a powerful catalyst of development within community-wide social, economic, and environmental impacts. In my worldview lens, being a first-generation American, encompassing my view of my country compared to those of my families differed. In my family, how a person was treated was driven by their cultural beliefs. As a young adolescent, I dreamt of going to college, forming bonds with friends, and traveling the world. In my family's culture, girls got married young and did not seek an education outside of high school if one was lucky. A quinceañera was a celebration that seemed to be most for the parents than for the girl. It was a rite of passage, and in my family, it gave the sense that a girl was mature enough to start a family and run a home. For our last slide, we'll be discussing spiritual development, the growth process of evolving one's inner self. Wise men still seek him. Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 through 12. When we arrive at the stage of spiritual growth, we can recognize we have evolved with our inner self-conscious. As we continue to grow spiritually, we learn more about ourselves and are able to grow. Once we have achieved this developmental stage, we can have a better handle on negative situations around us. We have a better sense of optimism and can become more positive, calmer, and peaceful about life. How I can best describe spirituality development is from personal experience. As mentioned in previous discussions and within my writings, my beginnings were not only humble but full of uncertainty and bleak. It was then through my continued faith in God and recognition of my spirituality that I was able to gain strength and freedom, not only to provide for my family and help others, that I then in turn was able to accept and love myself. In conclusion, by understanding the stages of human development, we are provided a tool to understand where an individual is coming from. We can also better understand and recognize patterns and behaviors we may need to work on within ourselves. I thank you for looking at my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions. Take care, Alex.